What's that?
There's no budget for it.
Man. Henry?
Coach, after losing 2 road games by 54, players out of the lineup everywhere, you come back home tonight, and I don't know if you played a better game. Great early start, defense, a lot of offense, big early lead. Wow. You want to react to that?
Yeah, you know, we put a game plan in place, just as far as how we want to play, taking care of the basketball. Our goal was 12 or less turnovers. I just talked about the locker room, and our goal was even on the glass. I think our last 2 games we were minus 13 and minus 16 on the glass. I think we had 21 turnovers against Colorado State, I think 15 against Vegas. And I told them we'd even on the glass and less than 12 turnovers. I thought we'd put ourselves in a really good position to win the game. We watched a lot of clips before the game, us being able to, we're a very good 5-on-5 basketball team. We can defend in the half court and we can score in the half court. When the game gets a little away from us and we rush and we take bad shots or we do too much defensively, it gets us into a game that we're not great at. And I thought tonight the guys were excellent, followed the game plan to a T, probably 4 to 6 possessions I'd like to have back, but overall, just based on where we're at, I was incredibly impressed with their maturity.
Quickly, do you have a new point guard?
You know, Zane has kind of reluctantly taken on the point guard position most of the year. He's a scorer, he likes scoring, he's good at it, but he's also our next best point guard right now. And Tavian has always been a guy that we've tried to kind of slide there, and I think the 2 of them did a tremendous job tonight handling the ball.
Game plan aside, I mean, you guys came out with a lot of energy tonight. Talk about, just how.
Yeah, that's mostly these guys, man. They played hard. I know we've battled back after some kind of tough losses over the course of the season, and clearly we were in a little bit of a nebulous spot right now, and I thought the guys themselves did a great job. There was no rah-rah speeches. That's not really me, and I want to tip your cap to them.
I'm curious why, kind of two questions here. I'm curious why you think they responded tonight. And then the obvious question that some people who had been growing frustrated with your leading scorer and his effort on defense the last couple games, on nationally televised games, seeing that he wasn't getting back and he was complaining a lot.
Sure.
Jaquan Lau wasn't in the lineup tonight. I'm curious what your reaction was to the way the team responded with him out, and why would they have responded tonight as opposed to either game last week with that kind of energy?
Yeah, I don't know. I think you probably have to ask them. I don't know if it was that or it was just it's time, you know. And I think in their defense, we're doing some things differently, offensively and defensively, that I think is going to make them look better. Part of what you saw, or what people maybe are frustrated with, happened in the UNLV game, came from just, quite honest, straight fatigue, and me and us trying to do some things that tired our guys out. And we really talked about, basically, I think you saw it today, we're going to rest a little bit more on offense, we're going to rest a little bit more going to the glass, we're going to rest a little bit more in certain areas so that we can play harder in the other areas that matter. And I don't know if it was as much maybe has been made of it, as much as it was just probably poor coaching and me putting guys in positions where they were too fatigued to kind of act the way they needed to at the time.
Kind of to follow that up though, like last week, why you kind of said poor coaching right there, but why weren't those changes made last week? Why did it take your leading scorer being out of the lineup to make those changes and to slow the team down and to get that?
They were made independent of that. We didn't know Jaquan was playing literally until right before the game. So that was something we've been watching film on and working on for the past few days. Just being a lot more patient on offense, getting our turnover number down, and conserving our energy to rebound defensively. And I think those things were happening, unfortunately. We were using up so much. We don't have a ton of guys. We're using them in a lot of ways, and we had to find a way to just be more efficient with their minutes, efficient with how they play, so that we had the energy for the right things, defense and rebounding. That's the plan, anyways.
Paul, your first season here was kind of odd because there's so much turnover and everything going on like that. But this, I don't think I've ever seen a season like this where there's so much stuff going on and off the court.
I know.
I'm curious, like how are you handling it, and how's the team handling it behind the scenes, stuff that we don't see?
Man, before the game, I was trying to just process everything that was going on. I just kept saying serenity now, serenity now. But it's unusual. I wish I could say, you know, sometimes things happen in a season. Guys get hurt. Guys get academically ineligible. different things kind of happen, as you can see across the country. What we've had is very unusual. I'm hopeful that in time, those things will play themselves out to a point that we'll all know a lot more about it, on what exactly it means about me or about us. But right now, we have what we have. The focus was on this game. I'm really proud of the guys that went out and competed and did everything we kind of asked them to do today. There were some little hiccups here and there, but if they can just follow that recipe, I still think we have a lot of basketball in front of us, and hopefully a lot of good basketball in front of us.
Coach, more minutes for Tavian, Vontae, Keith. What were you looking for from them today, and how you wanted them to impact the game? How did you feel like they impacted today?
Taking care of the basketball would be the number one thing, and I think for those guys to go out, for us to be at 11 turnovers and kind of down, where, I mean, at the beginning of the year, in our mind, we had 3 point guards, you know, and none of those 3 are with us right now. So for those guys to kind of slide over into different positions and to get us to an 11 turnover game and win the turnover battle against a team like San Jose State says a lot about those guys.
It's just some housekeeping. You don't need long answers necessarily, but Jaquan's knee, when do you expect him back? Vance's knee, when do you expect him back?
They're probably both similar situations. Vance has had an MRI, so we do feel good that it's nothing long-term. Jaquan will have one tomorrow. We don't feel right now that it's going to show anything, but I think we're going to take a look just in case. And they're both probably, I'm going to say day to day, but it could be week to week. It's just going to be when their knees get back to a point where they can play and not have risk of further injury.
There's one other one I ask. I know it was a challenge from a kid. You had 59 straight games in a red sweater. You played pretty well tonight without one, so the important question is, are you going to wear the red sweater again?
Man, that's a really good question. I started wearing a red sweater, I think, on Coaches versus Cancer. Really loved it, kept going with it. I don't know, maybe it's time to flip it back. Based on what Will just talked about, maybe it's the sweater, man. Maybe I need to mix it up or something. Get some different ethers.
It's going to take a different kid to challenge you before every game?
Yeah, maybe. The
Coach,
jacket didn't last
oh,
long.
sorry.
Go ahead, sorry.
The way the guys were able to just sustain the pace and the tempo in the second half, you know, you talked after the last couple of games where, you know, guys were getting kind of gassed by the end. Did you learn anything from those 2 games last week that you applied tonight in terms of just the guys being on the floor and minutes and? For
sure, I think in both games. I mean, I've told these guys, and we watched film right before the game. If we just play 5-on-5, we're a pretty good basketball team. When we turn over the basketball and we can't get back and get our defense set, I think our defense looks a lot worse on paper than it really actually is. When we play 5-on-5, like we did against Air Force, like we did against Wisconsin, like teams that slow it down, we look pretty good. When we play teams that speed it up and we turn the ball over, our defense doesn't look very good and we give up a lot of points. We've just got to find a way to control the game. It's not fun, it's not pretty, it's going to take a lot of sacrifice on their part, and I'm proud of the way they did that tonight.
I know you still got to take in this win, but you got a pretty big game coming up this weekend. First time against a former Lobo coach.
Yep.
Playing at their place. Just give us a kind of the feelings going into that game and kind of a description of the matchup.
You know, I would honestly say ordinarily I'd give you the best sound bites possible. I haven't spent, I mean, it has been an unbelievable month, an unbelievable 24 hours, and I haven't even thought 3 seconds on it. We'll start on that tonight, maybe at some point this week. I know it's a big one for a lot of different reasons, and I'll comment on that at some point. Coach Alford means a lot to me, always has. Did an amazing job here as a basketball coach. I respect him, Craig Neal, everybody. They're terrific. But I need to know more about them and everything else before I can give you some more.
Last 2, Henry, Geoff.
Coach, the true significance of being unbeaten at home.
Like I think I've said before, protect the pit is something we talked about. The guys have done an amazing job of that. I think this is one of the best starts in school history. I know there's been a lot going on with our team and a lot said about our team, but that's something you can't take away from these guys. And I'm really happy for them that they're a part of a team that has broken a record so far at home. I'm proud of them, and I'm really happy for our fans because that's who we do it for.
Henry, you asked what I was going to ask, but I do want to make sure there's a post-game conversation you had with their coach. It looked like maybe had to do with the dunk. Was there something?
No, it did not. I believe when guys were coming up the hall, there was some stuff going back and forth between the 2 teams.
Anything you know more about than that?
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think it's anything.
It wasn't that the alley-oop dunk in the last minute?
No, I think there was something coming up. I think he just wanted me to know, and some coaches were, I think the guys coming up the ramp were just talking a little bit with each other. That's my understanding.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Nice, Coach.
point guard now, huh?
Yeah, I'm trying to do a little something.
Is that the best game you've ever played at D1?
No, I wouldn't say that. Nah, it was a good game for me and my teammates. That's pretty much it. Just a normal game to me.
How did it feel?
It felt good to get out there and win. You know, we're not in the best shape as a team. You know, we don't got all our guys, but it was good to, you know, do that. That shows what we have. You know, still in the top. You know what I'm saying?
Why was the energy there tonight when it wasn't there last week? Not necessarily looking to point any fingers or anything, but you guys had energy tonight with a bunch of your starters gone. Why?
In a row, we just didn't have that motor. You know, we got back. We just don't want to disappoint the fans here at the pit. You know, we want to make sure everybody's happy when they're leaving out. You know, we want to give them a good game. That's all that was. You know, we just want to play hard.
Weir said there were some changes between this game and the last couple of games. What were some of those that really helped you limit turnovers?
Us just taking our time with offense. You know, playing at our pace, not speeding up. You know, everybody making good decisions, taking good shots. That's pretty much it.
I know Coach. Oh my bad. Coach Weir said there's no rah-rah speech or anything, but I mean, did you want to take it upon yourself to, you know, really bring up the energy and just go out there and perform, dude?
Yeah. We had a few guys down. You know, I took it amongst myself. You know, the lead. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like coaches depend on me. You know, as the point guard to lead the team in the right direction. I'm also seasoned. You know, I'm a transfer. You know, after 2 years, so I feel like I pretty much seen a lot of stuff that I could kind of help my teammates with, and that's what I did tonight.
Zane, what did you guys do better defensively?
Just communicating, everybody in the right spots. We was in our reds and our blues. Everybody just was talking out there. It was a good effort tonight.
I saw you ask the other day on social media, but where'd you get the cut?
I got the cut from Showtime. I had to get the cut, man. I had to clean up. You know what I'm saying? And, you look better, you play better, I guess.
I'm just saying, you get a haircut, coach sweater. You have a comment on the sweater and the suit?
It was about time he changed it up. I was getting tired of the red sweater, in my opinion.
You guys are gonna have to come up with something every game, like a cut, a different. All right.
I had to clean up, man.
That's great.
One more? Anything else?
Thanks, Bob.
Appreciate y'all.
Thanks, man.
Have a good night.
Showtime checks it up, man.
Yes, sir.
All right. Makuach Maluach, 15 points, 13 rebounds. That's his first double-double of the season, the second of his career.
I've asked you the same question before. You've been through some ups and downs here because you're the guy that's been here 3 years. Last week, you guys were on one of your downs. Why were you guys able to bounce back energy-wise today?
Honestly, we come in with the same effort every game. And on the road, it's really tough to come in and really play with energy. We did that, and then sometimes things don't go your way. We couldn't control teams making shots. So when we came back home, we had to protect the pit and do it for our fans. We didn't want to let them down.
And it wasn't just energy. You guys did do some changes. Coach talked about, Zane talked about a little bit. What, for you specifically, was the big change defensively that led to what was one of your best defensive games all season for a team?
I think just keeping guys in front. Sometimes when we speed the ball up, we turn it over, and then the teams, go and get a layup, and those are heartbreaking. So we just had to slow the pace down and just rebound as a team.
Same thing I asked Zane, just how much did you take it upon yourself, down a couple of guys to go in there, put on a good performance?
We all had to step up. I knew I had to come in and rebound and help out WAP because we don't have a lot of guys at the moment, so just came in and tried to rebound and play with energy.
I was talking to Coach about guys like Vontae, Keith, and Tavian especially getting extended minutes tonight with the guys that were out. What did you see from them and how they were impacting the game, just kind of all around?
This is the opportunity. So if guys are down, some guys are going to step up, and I think they did a great job tonight. At the end, we all D1 players, and we're here to play. So if you get an opportunity, you better go in there and take advantage of it because, the slim is small margin of error. If you go in there, you got to take the amount of minutes and play hard, and so the coach can see, you deserve to be here.
You play like you enjoy this game. Ridiculous question, but how much do you love this game of basketball?
I love the game too much. It gave me to travel the world, gave me education, so I can't really complain. The game has done so much for me, so I just gotta go out there with a smile and enjoy it.
Wow.
Anything else?
I know every win is crucial,
Last two.
but to have a win like this, how big is it and how uplifting is it for a team that, you know, is coming off a couple bad losses and, you know, to play so hard and have a win like this?
I mean, it's big. When you're losing, the energy sometimes is not good in the locker room. So a win really helped, and I think this win really helped. Like, you know, just the chemistry overall.
Just nothing serious, just the sweater. What do you think about Coach?
About
Take this.
time.
About time? All right. All right. Thanks, man.